So here we go then, the first of a scheduled 12 3-minute rounds, the WBO Cruiserweight Championship of the World on the line. The champion, Oleksandr Usyk, and who held the WBO Cruiserweight title with such distinction during his long campaign and tenure as the champion, took that world title in just his 10th professional contest. Long right jab to the body wasn't too far away from Usyk, then again using so Hook tucking up tightly, but a hard left hand to the body did get through from Usyk. And Usyk, such a twinkle-toed individual for a man who possessed of such heavy hands. And as you saw from the opening sequence, what a magnificent amphitheater for boxing this is proving to be. Usyk countered immediately. Both men look to invest early on in body shots. Marco Huck competing in his second outing of 2017. Coming off a loss, remember, is Bradis of Latvia for the vacant WBC title. His lesser regarded IBO crown was on the line. And immediately, Marco Huck's corner team were up on the ring apron. That's a transgression of the rules, of course, and upon a resumption, Oleksandr Usyk scored with a good left hand to the body, pawing forwards. But it's a two-phase attack from Marco Huck, because the first jab, then Huck started to wail away to the body. Good right jab in evidence from Usyk, who's got his composure once again. Deep into this opening round, both men showing flashes of the tactics that they want to employ. Marco Huck, far less activity. A couple of lead right hands tried. Again, rather telegraphing that right hand. Couldn't find the range. So to the second round we go. Oleksandr Usyk, Olympic champion in London 2012 in the 91-kilogram heavyweight division. When you think about that class of 2012, well, it's a pretty impressive bunch of medalists and champions in particular who have gone on to make a significant impact in the profession. Already a contender for the mythical #1 spot on the pound-for-pound list, the mythical pound-for-pound list. And the trailblazers and stairs followed. Remember, Robert Byrd said that anything on the waistband of those trunks is good. And anything on the waistband is good. But again, back to that Olympic class of 2012. Ranks, Nicola Adams and Katie Taylor already making their mark in the pros as well. And of course, who can forget Anthony Joshua, man who took super heavyweight gold in the same Olympics as Oleksandr at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff after that terrific contest. As Huck gets through with a good right hand to the body against Vladimir Klitschko earlier this year in front of 90,000 at Wembley Stadium. Usyk onto the front foot, the guard of Marco Huck. Huck making that one fall short. That's a rather crude, ponderous-looking right hook attempt. Krzysztof Glavatsky on the floor for the first time in his career. He attempted to make a 14th successful defense at Prudential Center in New Jersey when he was put on the floor for the first time in his career. The second time really heavily as he works away with that right hand to the body once again, bringing heavy leather. Actually, his man back towards the ropes and begins to score with an effective southpaw left. Action heating up here. Comfortable for Marco Huck. So round 3 of the scheduled 12 boxers are working towards in this 8-man elimination tournament. Single elimination, remember, not a round robin, as we've seen in previous weights. Here, the equation is quite simple. Win and you progress, lose and you go home, as Usyk scored with a good left hand just a few moments ago. That counter right hand wasn't too far away from Huck, and he comes forward with that right hand cocked back, locked and loaded, remaining composed under fire. Back to the space of center ring and looking to set up. Good right hand to the body scored by. And the men exchange jabs there. Connie Mittermeier with constant instruction from the right, from my right here at ringside for the first world title contest, so he knows what he needs to do up there in the box position here. Beyond the midpoint of the third round. And again, Usyk continuing to move wonderfully, just circling his man and the counter clock in at bay. with that annoyance of a right jab. The attempted 1-2 salvo from Huck is short. Usyk waving that right hand, tempting, and Usyk continuing to contract and expand the ring as he likes. He was on the ropes there and took a hard right hand to the body. Patient between these two men, I say altercation. It was just Huck making his presence felt when the two men came together at the press conference. As Usyk gets back onto the front foot, scores with a left cross. That brings a round of applause from his vocal support here. Huck comes back with a right hand with a single phase attack, but short to the mark, and now beginning to bring uppercuts through the middle. Huck made uncomfortable, driven back to the ropes. And Usyk just backs away, as if to let that superiority marinate. So into the fourth round we go. England, Callum Smith taking on Eric Skoglund, who has come down from the light heavyweight division in the first quarter-final in the super middleweight tournament. Here, our focus is on the cruiserweights. Impressive fashion. And Christoph, two title defenses have come on the road in the USA. And here he is, on the road once again in this first quarter-final of the World Boxing Super Series. That lead left hook wasn't... And remember, it was the lead left hook that he used to put Blavatsky on the floor. Encountered immediately, you can see the face of Huck just beginning to redden from those accurate right jabs that continue to pepper their way through from Oleksandr Usyk. And his energy level, a two-shot salvo, but it's easily evaded by Oleksandr Usyk. Trying that lead left hook once again. It has plenty of pop on it, does that punch, but it was blocked easily. That's a wonderful his attention, but he's back in the space of the ring now. And what a long right hand around the corner that just got through from Huck. But again, disorganized. Now more left hand success. Downstairs and upstairs from Oleksandr Usyk. What a left hand, what a combination. And Huck backing up, who's getting the better of those exchanges, because his success is more sustained and more eye-catching, and he seems to be spurred into action every time Huck enjoys a little bit of success. Now Huck fighting his 46th professional contest tonight. There's a lot of miles on the clock, but remember, the 4 defeats on his record have all come at Worlds to cover up, and while he was in that defensive posture, Oleksandr Usyk exploited it, and he started the 5th round quickly. Immediately onto the front foot, scoring with a rock-hard right jab near the neutral corner. Usyk continuing to look for openings in the attempted defenses of the former WBO champion of the orthodox stance by the man who resides here in Bern. But again, it's Usyk who's landing the heavy leather, hard right hook. Got behind the left hand, paid code. Exceptional Olympic-style boxing career. 2012 Olympic gold, we've already mentioned, of course. That was his second Olympic tournament in Beijing 4 years prior to that. Hard right hand to the body landed by Huck. But again, look at that for a spearing right hand. Marco Huck had put on the earmuffs from Oleksandr Usyk, managing to snake his way through the guard with that southpaw right. Fighting off the road now, Usyk. Good right hand lands from Huck, and the showboating in evidence, and then got immediately back onto the front foot, stepped back into the pocket, and took it to Marco Huck. Huck trying the lead right hand once again. Super Series, the trophy bearing the name of the greatest of all times, Muhammad Ali, the 3-time heavyweight champion, the 19th year of the format. He liked the idea of the concept, and that is why this trophy bears his name as Huck walks his way forwards and scores with some latches on like a limpet, clinging desperately around the waist of Oleksandr Usyk, causing referee Robert Byrd to intervene. But in fairness, Robert Byrd hasn't had much to do in this contest. He's being fought at a terrific pace, and he's a terrific spirit, tottering back out to center ring. On the back foot to it. So into the 6th round we go, and it's a tardy exit from the boxing ring by Connie Mittermeier on Marco Huck's corner team. Thankfully, no harm done. The fact that Huck is hitting him low, there's a sporting touch of gloves, all fair in love and war, of course. So Usyk targets the body before coming upstairs with that same shot. So the lead legs tangling momentarily between the orthodox and southpaw fighter. Marco Huck was put under pressure in that 5th. Usyk, such a thoughtful fighter. Even when he appears to be in range, he's always bobbing, he's always weaving, he's pivoting off either left or right. So he's never a stationary target, even though he got to this 6th round that he put forth in round number 5. A little bit of patience, and of course, in a 12-round contest, boxers will pick their spots. For Oleksandr Usyk, who's just taken his foot off the gas momentarily throughout the first half, raised the tempo, and his legs still look a little bit weary to me as he runs into a jolting right jab from Oleksandr Usyk. Usyk now coming forward, 3-line, that's a low blow. Referee Robert Bird just intimating to Huck that is to keep the punches up. Bobbing, weaving, working his way inside. In the neutral corner on the far side of the ring once again is where Marco Huck retreats to. Of Marco Huck, does he have the physical capacity to still demonstrate that experience the deeper we go into this contest? Driven across the ring, but they're easily evaded by Oleksandr Usyk. And then he comes back with a counter 2-punch combination, but Huck was wise to that. Closing seconds of round number 6. Huck on the front foot now. He walks Usyk, he walks Huck back towards the ropes. To go in this WBO cruiserweight world title fight, the first quarterfinal in the World Boxing Super Series. The Muhammad Ali Trophy is what is at stake for the winner. Remember, previous tournaments have taken far longer to resolve, but this starting in an 8-man quarterfinal bracket with the top cruiserweights in contention. The only man missing is Denis Lebedev, but all of the other top boys in action, vying for the inaugural. On the front foot once again, walking down his man. Huck fires a speculative right cross, but his shots not finding the range now. It's behind his gloves, peering in between them. And again, he's just continuing to move counterclockwise, going downstairs to the body effectively. In. Halfway through the 7th round. And Huck, such a tough individual, gets onto the front foot. Huck bobbing and weaving, but he can't evade these blows. He's back to the space of center ring now and turns the tables, pinning Usyk to the ropes. But look at that left hand, pinning. May well be feeling the pace, because having turned the tables on his man, he didn't take the opportunity to work away. Instead, he was looking to get some respite from the pace that is being set by Oleksandr Usyk. He mentioned the fact he may have taken a break in the first half of round 6 as he had left hand. And Huck now almost following his man around the boxing ring, a rather ponderous looking overarm right fight in. Usyk jigging those shoulders, relaxed up mid hand from Huck, bounces off the gloves of Oleksandr Usyk. Now he walking and poking with that right jab. Hard right cross fired out by Huck. Did the same shot once again, but now here comes Oleksandr Usyk, unloading heavy leather. Huck covering up, trying to fire back with the right hand, but he's under significant pressure, and there's the bell. Turn to the 8th round then. Marco Huck trying to establish a hard right hand to the body, and Robert Bird saying to Usyk, listen, stop complaining, let's go. I said that anything on the belt line is good. Let me rest, you do the fighting. Bright start to the round from Marco Huck, who endured something of a torrid round in housekeeping regarding the scoring here in the Muhammad Ali Trophy, the World Boxing Super Series. Tournament boxing, of course. And so, irrespective of the result tonight, in the event that it is a draw, somebody will be progressing through to the 2nd round. There may be a rematch outside of the Muhammad Ali Trophy as Usyk has dropped his elbows, and then it gets tagged by a straight left hand straight through the guard. There's the same shot once again. Huck bobbing and weaving. But in the event that the contest is a draw, a 4th judge has been scoring this contest. That's Robert Delpierre from France. He sat in a rather unusual position directly opposite our comment. His scorecard will be brought into play. If that still doesn't determine a winner, we will then go to a countback system, and the countback system will be the 12th round. So no coasting if you think you have the contest in the bag, as has happened in previous big fights. Perhaps most notably as Usyk gets through the cracking right hook, just causes Hook to wither back up there now. His mouth wide open. That's a counter right hook though from the KG veteran Captain Hook. But back comes Usyk. And his success is more sustained. Touching his man up both upstairs and downstairs. Hook partially turning his back, looking to launch a sneaky counter right hand again. But in the meantime, sustained, used a lot of punches coming from Oleksandr Usyk. Left hand success, and then a sneaking underhand left. Hook in real trouble, and the momentum of such from Usyk caused him to Oleksandr Usyk. Now timeout has been called. What is going to transpire here? Robert neutral corner. And is now reading the riot act, and a point has been deducted. Usyk sent him to the canvas. And while he was on the canvas, Bird was on the spot and has taken a point away from Hook, who was missed by a country mile with a lead left hook. So into the 9th round we go. And Oleksandr Usyk, perhaps sensing that Marco Huck is ready for the taking, has got onto the front foot and has started this stanza at a furious pace. Again, it's as though his offense has been reduced to sneaky lead right hands. Now he's getting to work with punches from both things. Usyk again intimating that he's been struck low. He gets back onto the front foot. Lead left hook from the German challenger. Falls short of the mark. Success. And these punches seeming to have an increasingly noticeable effect on Marco Huck now. Every time the left cross crashed steady. Usyk, encouraged by the vocal support he's receiving here at the Max-Schmeling-Halle in Berlin, remaining patient, remaining as he looks to break down the defenses of this durable former champion. Around this magnificent amphitheater for boxing. That's a hard right hand to the body from Hook. Now, did that hurt Usyk? It certainly inconvenienced him midway through the 9th round. Right hand wasn't too far away from Hook, but again, Hook is being driven backwards. Now, is he trying to launch a sneaky counter right hand like that while in a seemingly vulnerable position? But it appears to me, as he's put under pressure from some accurate punch picking from Oleksandr Usyk, bobbing and weaving in his own corner now, Marco Huck. But it seems to me that Huck is putting all his store into a knockout. Usyk waves him on contemptuously. And again, he's saying, listen, man, you keep hitting me low, keep your punches up. Usyk back into the pocket, Huck remaining concentrated. Big left hand bounces off the gloves of Huck. And perhaps we're seeing the difference here between the vitality and the energy of youth and the weariness that comes professional contests. Marco Huck again taking up what is becoming an increasingly familiar posture in the neutral corner, but defiantly fights back on the 10-second clapper out to the space of center ring. In that combination. Round 10. And increasingly he is asserting his dominance. Oleksandr Usyk, who won the title in just his 10th professional contest. Before that, that was the first time he went the scheduled distance. Before that, it was 9 knockouts. But again, the effective defenses of Oleksandr Usyk caused many of the punches in that combination to cannon off, and in starkly precise with his punch picking. Hooks around the corner, uppercuts through the middle, and it wouldn't surprise me if a late stoppage were produced here by Oleksandr Usyk. Good left hand to the body defenses. But he's on the receiving end of some sustained pressure here. He comes back with a good right hand, but Usyk takes it well and immediately steps back into punching range, scores with a right hand upstairs, then working the body. Hook bobbing and weaving once again, trying to fight his way off the ropes, but only totters across the boxing ring to take up residence on the ropes on the far side of the ring, near Usyk's corner. Furious assault being launched by Oleksandr Usyk. Is he looking to finish it here? Hook trying to hold on, but instead he's only covering up. Bobbing and wilt. Again, he's trying to fight his way out of the corner. Uppercut ripping through the middle. Robert Bird poised, taking a close look at Marco Huck. All of his strength being put to the test. Usyk working away furiously. Shots underneath. Robert Bird has stepped in and has waved it off in the 10th round of this contest.
He is the